Welcome to Total War Warhammer 2, the Warden and the Paunch. In this series I will be playing a very chilled and relaxed Vortex campaign Let's Play series featuring the new DLC and FLC. Before I talk about the DLC, the FLC and the new patch, thank you so much to Creative Assembly for providing me with a free press key for the new content. So this is the latest DLC, the Warden and the Paunch, for Total War Warhammer 2, and in this DLC we get to see the legendary lords Eltharion the Grim and Grom the Paunch, again pitted against one another to fight over the city of Yvresse. These two have met in battle before, a battle that Eltharion won. Now, Grom is looking to amass the largest warg ever to be seen to bring both Eltharion and the Elves of Yvresse on their knees before him. Eltharion, on the other hand, is quite aware of Grom's plans and is working diligently on building up the defences of his city and his homeland. Creative Assembly has made a lot of changes to the game, including some of the previously existing legendary lords, where I can, for instance, use Teclis as an example. His mount has been replaced by one of the new units that is introduced in the DLC, which is now the Arcane Phoenix. Going through all of the changes, that's just going to be too much for this video, so I do encourage you to either read the patch notes or take a look at some of the other Total War channels on YouTube if you want to have an expert in-depth analysis on the changes, units, and so forth. But I, of course, still would like to make a quick rundown of the two factions in this DLC, and I will, of course, also get to the FLC faction. So, High Elves bring us Eltharion the Grim. He's a jack-of-all-trades type of character, having access to both a spear and a sword, in addition to being a proficient wielder of high magic. He is not as strong as Tyrion in combat, nor is he as powerful a magic user as Teclis is, but he do offer a very flexible playstyle where he can change the role that he's acting out in combat based on the circumstances. His abilities lean towards doing strong defensive situations or battle lines, so he is a very adept defender. He also gets access to his trusted mount, Stormwing, which, uncharacteristically enough for the High Elves, is a mighty battle griffin. He also has a new panel which represents Athel Tamara. This is his base of operations deep within the city of Yvresse. Athel Tamara gives the player access to upgrades that have various benefits, and also the option to capture enemy heroes and lords, keeping them as prisoners, and then gain benefits from interacting with. I guess that's the polite way of saying... torture, perhaps? Nah. Interacting with, tickling them, and questioning said prisoners. In addition to Athel Tamara, Yvresse will also be progressively covered by an enchanted mist called the Mist of Yvresse, which enhances all of Eltharion's troops and also disrupts any enemies caught within it. Athel Tamara provides upgrades to the mist, which makes it progressively more powerful as you invest into it. Then we have the Defense of Yvresse mechanic, which is a mechanic that represents Eltharion's efforts at rebuilding and gradually reinforcing Yvresse. Yvresse will start in a somewhat run-down and damaged state until upgrades are completed, and then will progress into rebuilt and finally into fortified states. The settlement map, that I assume means the battle map for the city, will actually change on the current defense level, affording stronger defensive capabilities and options for Eltharion. In addition, the defense level of Yvresse also expands and enhances the Mist of Yvresse, ultimately covering the entirety of Eltharion, which is quite powerful. Eltharion also replaces the ritual invocation of Isha, and instead gets access to a new ritual called the Invocation of Ladriel, which of course empowers the Mist of Yvresse. That's it for Eltharion. Let's move on to Grom the Paunch. Grom the Paunch is the self-styled king of the goblins. He wields the mighty axe of Grom and rides into battle atop the sturdy chariot of Grom together with his trusted Night Goblin assistant and standard bearer, Niblet. Excellent name for a goblin, that. Niblet. Grom can find food ingredients, Niblet comes to mind, around the campaign map, which he can combine in his cauldron to cook up culinary delights from the Greenskin cuisine. This lets him and his boys feast and gain special powers. Grom himself will gain permanent enhancements from having sampled enough different dishes. I have to confess that I do not have high hopes for the Greenskin cuisine, but you never know. Maybe if Grom loses the battle against Eltharion, he could open a restaurant in Marienburg and maybe get a few Bretonnian equivalents of some Michelin stars for his restaurant? Who knows? Grom also has the severed head of Blacktooth. This is one of his most prominent shamans who died in the previous battle he fought with Eltharion. Blacktooth will function as a mission issuer for Grom, guiding the player through the campaign, but in addition, Blacktooth can also be assigned to any shaman character, which in turn grants that shaman the ability to summon a rogue idol of Gork in battle. And then finally we come to the FLC, the Legendary Lord, that's a tongue twister, which I intend to play. I must confess that I rather feel obliged to play this guy, and the person in question is Crown Prince Imrik of the noble realm of Caledor. As Imrik is a direct descendant of Caledor Dragon Tamer, the powerful wizard who created the Vortex, and the inspiration for both my nickname and channel name, I am sure you can understand why. Imrik wields a lance while he is riding his mount, and a halberd while he is unmounted. This means that Imrik is especially well suited for fighting characters and monsters, which is further emphasized by his character abilities as he levels up. This also happens to be one of my favorite hero playstyles. Strong lords and heroes that are good at taking out the enemy lord and heroes, and occasionally the monsters. That's definitely very fun to play. But in addition to that, the High Elves also is my favorite faction lore-wise. Probably doesn't come as a huge surprise, given that Caledor was the inspiration for my nickname. Crown Prince Imrik, as the descendant of Caledor Dragon Tamer, has a unique mechanic where he will have special dragon encounters in the world with the goal of taming the dragons in question. He also replaces two of the rituals that the High Elves usually have. That would be then a greater invocation of a wall. That's a ritual that gives additional bonuses to dragons and some other things. And then the invocation of Eldraiser, which is a ritual that improves and grants experience to dragon princes, lords, and heroes. He also eventually, of course, gets access to his very own dragon mount, Minaithnir, a powerful star dragon. Now the DLC and the FLC, and also the free patch, adds a bunch of new lords, heroes, units, and regiments of renown to the game. I'm not sure if you get access to so many of the units and stuff like that without paying for the DLC, but you should get some of them. In addition, there is a total revamp of the WAG system for the Greenskins. I didn't really like the old WAG system very much, so I'm curious to see how this new system works. But that might be something to explore in a different series than this one. If we meet any filthy greenskins around here, we're most likely going to send them packing for the hills as we capture their settlements. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this intro, I intend this playthrough to be very chill and relaxed, and for that reason I am playing on easy difficulty, and I also have some mods enabled that will both let us move through the tech tree quicker and also increases our income. And this will, of course, without a doubt, make for a much easier playthrough, where we will probably just steamroll the AI and so forth. But I would rather show off the contents of the new expansion quicker, and thus make a somewhat shorter playthrough, rather than people falling off the wagon because of things getting repetitive or very slow going. If you want to see the mods that I'm using, you can take a look at the description of any of the videos. However, the most prominent ones is the mod that is called 100% more research points, and the other one is called Boost Economy and Less Costs 3-in-1. those two only benefit the player. The AI already has its own benefits in those areas anyways, so there are of course even more powerful mods out there, but I feel they are over the top, and even with the boost economy mod that I'm using in my test game, I had a slightly ridiculous amount of money. So yeah, if you're not really that fond on the mods, there are plenty of players who will be playing this on legendary difficulty without any kind of making things easier mods if you like to watch longer playthroughs. So whatever you feel is best for you to watch, of course. Now with that said, let's just get started. New campaign, we'll do it Eye of the Vortex. Yes, hello Tyrion. First of all, we have Grom the Paunch. He should be at the very end here.
Goblin King, for now and ever.
Yes. That looks painful. So I've already explained most of his stuff, but one of the things that I'm very happy about is the Snotlings. I love the Snotlings. But of course we won't play him. The other hero is Eltharion. So you see he has access to the dungeon of Athel Tamarha, and that's where he will have his prisoners for interaction. And both of these have opposite diplomatic relations, -80 with the other type of faction lords. Now, Eltharion starts, of course, in Yvresse. Grom starts down here. If you don't play him, he will not appear in the campaign, as far as I know. And then finally, we have the little pretty boy, Imrik.
Can best meet in battle.
He's slightly arrogant as well, as is to be expected. I guess I would be arrogant as well if I had... Oh, probably not, but having that dragon probably doesn't help. So, easy. He starts out with Dragon Princess, Sun Dragon, and a unit of White Lions of Crace. And he starts out down in the Shifting Sand, south of Hemri. So, let's jump into that. But first, let's see the video.
Who are the Asur? An enigma to men and dwarfs, who know them as High Elves. At the center of the great ocean lies Ulthuan, a paradise created by the Old Ones. But when the stellar gates collapsed, demons flooded the mortal plane. All was lost until Anarion the Defender strode forth. The first Phoenix King vanquished the demons with the aid of the Archmage Caledor Dragon Tamer. It was Caledor and his elven mages who created the Great Vortex. A swirling maelstrom that siphoned the excess magic, withering demonkind. With the world purged of chaos, the elves took it upon themselves to become guardians and stewards. The twin-tailed comet is oft seen as an omen. But this time, its wake brought great peril.
The dragon with two tails flies lower than before. Its trail disturbs the vortex.
I've felt a change in the winds of magic.
Then write it, brother. Lead the mages of Safari. Bring all in the White Tower to bear if you must.
Such lore is currently beyond us.
I suggest a scrying ritual in the pool of Isha. It may provide us with the answer.
Such a ritual requires fragments of fallen waystones. Far more than we have.
Then we find more. Make ready your ritual, Lordmaster Talarian. You will have your fragments.
I shall start the search in Lustria.
Lustria?
My brother will search here, in Ulthuan.
Why do you care so much about the greater world?
Why do you not? Stay here, brother. Protect Ulthuan. But I venture beyond our borders.
And while you meddle in far-flung continents, I will ensure you have a home to return to.
That was Tyrion and Teclis, and Tyrion didn't seem too happy with Teclis departing for Lustria. I would read this, but this thing is going to be done before I would be done, so...
Long have I led the great host of Caledor. Now the Phoenix King has sent me to the Southlands to help restore the great vortex created by my forebear, the great Caledor Dragon Tamer. The bowmen of Orion dwell nearby, fellow elves of the Azrae who could prove strong allies, should we choose to help them. Locations of arcane power are close, where we can gather the way fragments we need. Some appear uninhabited. Others may require us to remove the primitive creatures that inhabit them. Further afield are ancient ports, once under Asur control. We could reclaim them for better communications back to Ulthuan, but must be wary that these deserts are the realm of undead kings, who would sooner go to war than have us annex their lands. Tyrion and Teclis may consider themselves the foremost defenders of the Vortex, but they shall soon see that the bloodline of the House of Caledor still runs hot with dragonfire.
Indeed. So, the Knights of Caledor plays out like any regular High Elf faction, but they do have this little interesting tidbit here that I will read out. Dragon taming. Most dragons of the world are overcome by slumber, but a small number still roam the land that the Knights of Caledor can call upon in this time of need. You will periodically encounter such dragons from whom you can draw knowledge and power, or otherwise tame them in battle to gain their strength. Defeating the greatest and most ancient of them will see them join your cause. And the rest of this is just the regular High Elf faction information. This little counter here, as you can see, number of turns until the next dragon encounter. So that's a very important number for Imrik. And we get the usual quests: research a technology, construct some buildings, capture and occupy a settlement from the faction we started war with.
Your king.
You're not my king. We also start out with
Mage
a
of Ulthuan.
fire mage, Michaela. Let's embed her into the Imrik's army.
Ladriel, grant me your
And
sight.
before we do anything, remove that. Let's change the animation speeds
Cannot
here.
stay my ferocity.
That's fine. Heroes off. Enemy faction. I'll just leave it on medium. Move to fastest. And neutral factions. Heroes off. I'm also using a mod that changes the AI's default behavior when it comes to agents. So the AI will more frequently embed agents into armies, which is... it reduces some of the agent spam, with all of the agents coming into your provinces doing crap, but it also actually enhances the AI's abilities, because as any of you who are proficient with Total War, Warhammer and Warhammer 2 would know, the agents are actually quite powerful combatants. Like this fire mage, she is an agent, but she is very, very useful having inside an army.
Caledor's champion.
Now let's go take out King Petuit.
We will prevail.
Could of course just auto-resolve
I
this,
always do.
but no. He could probably use some skin cream. For some reason the gamble thing doesn't seem to work. It just stays on the number, so I don't know what that's about. It might be something that Creative Assembly needs to patch, or it might be one of the mods that is interfering with something, which is likely, of course, considering that the mods that I'm using are not updated for the DLC.
Prince Imrik.
Stand there, and we can have Michaela here, and the dragon there, and start the battle. Well, let's move the dragon over there. And these guys, we can move them there, and we can move the... No, that's wrong. Sorry, we can move the Dragon Princess over there. The Dragon Princess is one of the elite cavalry units, so that's a rather nice unit to start with. Now let's breathe some fire on those skeletons. Sun Dragon's breath. Apparently he doesn't want to. There we go. And then withdraw. I'm not sure I want to be on the lower end of that dune.
My pleasure.
The dune isn't really that tall, so it shouldn't matter that much. Can you cast a fireball over there? Indeed you can. There we go. Fireball didn't cast though. And he's taking the Lord in first. That's not very wise for a Tomb King.
The glory of Imrik. For order!
For those of you who are familiar with the undead factions, if you kill their lord, they crumble. And crumbling ultimately means that the units will just disappear.
Dragon Princes! Move!
That chariot unit is going to be annoying though. Already killed a goodly amount of my white lions.
Understood. For order.
Let's try to take out those chariots.
Dragon Princes.
There we go.
Archers. Loyal. Phoenix Sun.
Outward Mage. Man Louis, Orior, Man Louis.
I'm losing more white lions than I expected in this battle. Probably would have performed better if I had just auto-resolved.
Winds of magic rise.
What are you doing?
Forward. Scython, hear me.
And he summoned Ustabi.
Outward.
Dragon Princes. At Acknowledged! Attack!
Stabi. That's a particularly annoying ability.
Spellcaster!
They're like undead Anabites.
Prince Imrik! Dragon's Rage!
Our spearmen are
It will be done!
fleeing. And they are crumbling. Finally, good. Close victory. I could have gone better. The spearmen and the white lions in particular suffered badly.
Was never in doubt. Lesser beings. Fit
Let's
only
do some
for
forced labor and we'll get 25% unit replenishment from these
They will
bones.
rebuild Caledor. Follow me to glory.
Imrik got the Horn of Vol. 30% base weapon damage. That's quite good. Let's recruit a unit of spearmen and 2 more archers, I think. I'm also using a mod that progressively gives more skill points to lords and heroes as they level up. Let's research military advancements of 1 and upgrade these 2 buildings in this settlement. And we should be... Ah, you need fireball. There, now we should be done.
All Caledor rejoices.
King Itobom.
It burns like Vol's anthem. The dragon strikes.
Just auto-resolve this
Step
one
back. Join.
and occupy it.
In.
Research is done. And this is an interesting quest. If we occupy, loot, raise or sack 6 different settlements, we get 25 influence, 1500 monies, but we also gain the opportunity to confederate with Caledor. I usually don't want to do that though. It's annoying having the camera going back and forth between whatever this part of the world is called and Ulthuan. We get missions and completed some missions. Let's get the archery prowess first. 15% reload time reduction for archers and Lothern Sea Guard units.
Pride of Ulthuan.
Let's also level up this guy. We want Bowmaster, which gives us more ammunition. And Michaela we want to have the Burning Head, which is an excellent spell. Now here. I think we want to have a plaza, and we can upgrade that. We should also recruit some more units here. I'm not bothering with the light armored archers because I'm probably going to change out the archers with Lothern Sea Guards and Shadow something. I don't remember their names. The Rangers are not that good without upgrades, so I'm just going to ignore those. They are very good flankers though. I wonder if I should do... That gives us 6 archers and 6 spearmen. I think we'll do that. Costs a bit of money, but I also want to recruit a lord. Now, one of the downsides to playing the High Elves is that if you don't have enough influence, you get crappy lords, and those crappy lords have malices instead of bonuses. So I'm just going to find a mage that doesn't have local enemy armies or something. This one is horrible. think this one would be okay, because this lord is going to be dismissed as soon as she's done what I need her to do.
High Elven Archmage. High Elven Archmage.
And enter. Expect Itobom to go back to Bagar. So we've built the rally field and the tower. And we need to destroy that faction. Now Venola is going to go over to the plane of Tusker, and I think I should take a look at the sound settings. I think we can do that. Let's just go after.
Do not betray your king. The dragon shall wake. Summary execution.
Let's fight this battle. It's fun to fight the battles. Even it's going to be very easy. The High Elves are very good at archery, or ranged combat in general is one of their fortes, so whenever you give me a map like this where I have a choke point, that seriously helps. And Imrik there, Dragon Princess there, Michaela, you can go there, and then Dragon, you go there. I think that was all? No, I almost forgot the White Lions. Let's put them there. And start the battle. And move these guys forward. The dragon, we can move even further forward. And the Dragon Princess go over there. Speed up while they move. Let's burn off some fire. Not terribly concerned with those archers, to be honest. Let's do a burning head through that, shall we? Move these forward as well. And this is Nekara Horseman.
Following orders.
And again, we have these annoying chariots to deal with.
Dragon Princess. Prince Imrik.
You go there.
Dragon Princess. Spearman.
Spellcaster.
Spearman.
Now I just have to pay attention. You attack the Lord.
Attack.
Excellent.
Death to all.
Breathe a little bit of more fire down here. And then attack these bowmen. And if I do this right, like so.
Scython, hear me.
Yeah, that's beneficial.
Dragon Princess. The Dragon Tamer.
I don't think that does much because can cause fear. I think the undead are immune to that, but Horn of Vol, on the other hand, let's use that.
Roar. Dragon Princess. Lacoy.
Take the princess and attack over there.
Yvresse.
Summon some Ustabi again. But I think they're crumbling now.
Spearman.
And there we go. Now we just have to wait for them to die, and that would be it. Oof, gone. Decisive victory. That's much better than the previous battle I did. 63 to 1265. Of course, you always wipe out the undead armies if you take out their lord, so...
Caledor rejoices.
They will rebuild.
Let's do forced labor to
This is my destiny.
get back our units. Oh, we can actually move right on and take Bagar.
As it was meant to be.
We've unlocked the right of Invocation of Eldrazer. Let's show off the rights. The Greater Invocation of Vor,
For the dragon.
it gives us a powerful magical item. It enables flaming attacks for all armies, gives Swordmasters of Hoeth, White Lions of Krace, Phoenix Guard and Dragon Prince units +5 armor. You get the Vol's Hammer twice during every siege battle. That's really powerful. It will take out a tower or a segment of wall or the gate in just one ability use, so that's a really powerful siege ability. And also your dragons get twice as much dragon breath attacks. The Eldrazer, 200 experience per turn for lords and nobles. They also gain 50% more experience from combat and actions. Lords, embedded heroes and dragon princes get 25% additional armor piercing weapon damage. And you get 10 melee attack for lords, embedded heroes and dragon princes. So yeah, this is really good, but you do get the little malus of 15 penalty to diplomatic relations with High Elves. I don't know if that's a permanent one or if it just lasts during the invocation. I haven't used it, but it's still a very, very good
The dragon strikes.
ability,
I'll
alright.
win.
We'll just auto-resolve that one.
They'll thrive.
Then occupy, and we have finished the Dune Kingdoms faction. We got the Invocation of Asurian and Invocation of Isha unlocked.
Son of the Phoenix.
Now we have... Now I'm getting 2 skill points per level from level 5. Get Route Marcher for the 10%, I think the 10% campaign movement range. Then we want to upgrade the province, and this province has a gem mineshaft.
High Elven Archmage.
The deep would protect.
Do you want a non-aggression pact?
Orders received.
Yes. Do you want a trade agreement? Probably
Misguided.
not. No. I think that's about it, so let's move on to the next turn. We automatically succeeded that quest because we already embedded Michaela into Imrik's army, so the armor of Caledor is not a single piece, but an amalgamation of several armors worn by successive heroes of Caledor's long history. Yet it lacks a vital piece. When Caledor I, one of the greatest Phoenix Kings, was faced with unsurmountable numbers of Dark Elf corsairs at sea, he threw himself into the depths of the ocean to prevent himself from being captured by his baneful enemies. If even a single piece could be recovered, it could greatly empower the armor of Caledor. Rumors abound that a fragment of Caledor the Conqueror's fabled armor may have reappeared. Imrik must summon a mage to perform a ritual of scrying so that more can be learned of its location. Now the archers and Lothern Seaguard units are quicker on reloading. And we have to complete the rite of the Greater Invocation of Vol to get the next step of that chain. And we need to search a ruined settlement, which is why I summoned the Nova.
Azurian's fire.
Ah, this one. It's not that, because that one is there. It's this one. It's pointing towards that one. Gleaming Pennant. It's not really good, but it's not bad either.
Magic in purest form.
Let's leave her there for the time being and move him back. We need to hurry down to Quexotl, because otherwise the last defenders will capture it in front of our faces, and that is unacceptable. Give her a final point in the Burning Head. And now we can recruit some Lothern Sea Guards. Our final step there. And then we want to get the Spear Wall, which is 10% weapon strength for High Elf Spearmen, Lothern Sea Guards, and Silverine Guard. The Silverine Guard is one of the new units. It's like a elite High Elf Spearman unit. So expect us to have several of them in our armies. Now we have to upgrade building here. As you can see, it's already getting slightly ridiculous in terms of money. It's going to get worse.
Explain your alien needs.
Tic-tac-toe.
Caledor will at least listen.
You want a non-aggression pact, but you want me to pay you for it. I don't think so. I'll sign a non-aggression pact, though. Good.
You are privileged indeed to have the ear of
Khemri, or Hemri, Setra the Imperishable. He wants a trade agreement, but he wants me to pay for it? I don't think so. No, I don't want a non-aggression pact with you, Setra. Tower is complete. Now we need to ensure that one of these buildings have been constructed. Yeah, let's get the archive. That gives us the option to unlock military advances or advancements too. And it also opens up the recruitment of mages. And we'll upgrade this, but I intend to move that out of the main settlement. Now we want to colonize the Plain of Tuskers. That completes that mission. And we have to issue a commandment. We will issue the Rebuild Lost Splendor. 10% less construction cost for all buildings and plus 20 growth. The growth is the most important part here. And then we have to rebuild the city and Venola. I'm sorry, but toodles. Imrik's army is full, so let's just move him down here. As a matter of fact, let's march him. Gnarly Treehugger is down there. I wonder if he's going to come back now that they have our army in their lands. But we do have enough influence to recruit a somewhat decent lord now. So we have Eltharion. 5% magic resistance for all units. That's a bit meh. Leander, he's trained. 5 charge bonus and 5 melee attack. Yeah, let's recruit Leander.
Defender of the Phoenix Throne.
And let's start recruiting some units. What are we researching currently? So nothing that gives us any bonuses to recruitment rank. Let's get 3 units of Lothern Sea Guard then. And end the turn. Yeah, he's coming back. Expected as much. That means we should probably invoke the Greater Invocation of Vol, because now there's going to be a substantial army defending Quexotl. However, that'll have to wait until the next episode, because we are already at the time that I feel comfortable with having one episode for. So I hope that you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to come with any questions and comments as per usual. Be gentle on me for using the cheaty mods. I guess they can only be called GT. So the main purpose is, of course, that I just want to show off things. So yeah. But for now, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all in the next episode.